In our last KVK, there were two crazy moments where I just could not believe the number of marches that were on the field. In fact, I think I need to recruit a whole nother alliance to Kingdom 75. Stick around in this video for the two most crazy moments where the number of marches on the field was just absolutely mind-blowing. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in this video, we're going to be talking about two absolutely crazy moments in our KVK where, you can see it on the screen. This right here is an insane number of marches, but what if I told you that there were twice as many as what you see here in a ball up north, too? I don't know how this kingdom had so many marches, and I've never seen so many weird marches in my life. Some of them are super legit. You see they're moving around and they're fighting. Others are like Belisarius primary, no secondary. And it's like, I don't know who picks that march, but gosh bless, when you have enough marches, it doesn't even matter what the secondary is or what commanders are used because you just have protection by virtue of there just being so many players. In fact, I feel like what we need to do in 75 is in some ways just completely change our strategy from bringing efficient marches that perform well to having everybody just bring as many marches as you possibly can, and by virtue of having more marches on the field, we can just get more stuff done. And by the virtue of just having so many marches on the field, they just start to protect each other. Honestly, that's the strategy I want to execute in 75, and I want to recruit a whole nother alliance to the kingdom. Here you can see the additional insane ball that has, again, however many you see on the screen down below that I showed you before, they got 2 times as many in there, and every 10 minutes they had the same number of marches flow in, again, and again, and again, every 10 minutes, like clockwork. It was just unbelievable. It was so hard to deal with, and, you know, I got to recruit more people. It's the only way I can think to try to emulate what they have done here, because it was just, you see it on your screen, like, it was just so bananas, and I get that this is on our way into our downtime at kind of 2:30 in the morning for me, which is not so amazing. But this was just absolutely bonkers. So I want to bring another alliance into Kingdom 75. If you've already got a leadership team that wants to bring a whole alliance and you want to have a shell in the kingdom, and we can find a way to do that too. We got space for it. I don't care what power the players are, as long as they want to show up and fight and put their marches in the field and put occasionally a march into a flag. I genuinely do not care what player's power is. Yeah. Let me show you the other moment in our KVK that convinced me, the power of having so many people in one place and what you can get done. Okay, so here is when we pull the exact same tactic that the enemy did. They did a fort drop on us. Instead of doing a fort drop in this moment in the KVK, we marched an insane number of marches, 20 plus minutes, to a pass shared by our ally and the enemy. And our allies couldn't take the pass themselves, so we marched over and killed literally all the enemy marches on that side of the pass that we had access to, so that our allies could take the pass, come into the zone, and actually teleport into the zone and build a fort within a safe haven that we had created for them. So there were these two big instances in our KVK where just having an insane number of marches is so intimidating that the enemy just can't even approach you. And that, I think, is very, very powerful. So we've got land in Zone 3 in our kingdom where we can bring in a whole another alliance worth of players. We're already bringing 170 plus people into the kingdom who said and have committed to coming here. That includes every alliance in the kingdom. We'll also have space in alliances in our kingdom to try to do more of this. So if this is something you're interested in, being in a situation where everybody brings just a ton of marches for as long as they're online to try to have a massive field presence. I don't know what we'll be able to accomplish, but I think it could be really cool to convert 75 from being an efficiency-oriented kingdom, which is really how we've operated, to being much more focused on having an unbelievable amount of field presence, and to be able to operate in a whole bunch of places all at once because we have so many people that can just put their marches in the field and have presence to keep the enemy from going somewhere or doing whatever they want to do. Let me just jump back in game. Now, right now, the alliances in our kingdom have some inflated power. We're at 14 billion power right now, 14.4, and we're going to get half our troops back from KVK, which is a big deal. But also, we've got a lot more capacity now than we normally do. We have like 189 member slots at the moment, something insane. So the alliances in the kingdom are a little bit inflated for the power that you see here compared to what we will have. 11.7 for MR. We've got NL at 10.4. We've got IB at about 9 billion power. We've got T at 6.7 billion power. And then PO at 3.1 billion power. Also GR at 3.4 or 3.5 billion power. And my goal is to get to 7 full alliances of active players that all put some freaking marches in the field. In fact, not just some, but 5 marches in the field. And we run around and just wreck stuff. And my hope is that it can enable us to win in 2v1 situations like the one we found ourselves in for a part of this sort of KVK. I genuinely thought we would be able to handle the situation we had this KVK, and we couldn't, which means we need to grow more, and we need to get the right mindsets, the right people into the kingdom. So if this is something you're interested in, being in a kingdom that primarily does speak English, but we want to have global presence, and we want to be able to be more of a swarm kingdom where we just have unbelievable numbers of marches. If you're interested in doing that, man, links in the description to join Kingdom 75. We're looking for people who just want to show up. They don't have to be crazy warriors, although if you are a crazy warrior, please contact Ruz and Cortex for joining the Wolves if you're interested. We recently hit a treasure of orange crystal. We're actually the first in the game to have accomplished that, which comes with the downside of getting less frequent treasures of crystal, and the rewards are about the same. So that's most certainly a little bit awkward. We're like, well, do we just like, we need like a new shell or something to get the treasures of crystal more frequently? What are we supposed to do here? But yes, Wolf is also recruiting. If you're interested, contact Ruz and Cortex. And if you want to come to the kingdom, the link is again in the description for our Migration Discord, where you can find out everything you need to know and be connected immediately with an officer of the kingdom. I don't know if I'm aware of any English-speaking, primarily swarm-style kingdoms yet. I would like to make one. I think that would be pretty cool. If you want to be a part of that project, then heck, sign right up. And my preference will be that we get folks that are in other time zones than Europe and USA, because we've got a ton of that already. I'd love to have more round-the-clock coverage. That'd be pretty sweet. We've got some work to do in 75, and hopefully you'll be a part of it. Until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.